Hey everyone, Kim Hosen here with Girl Scouts of Silver Sage, and I have another just-in-time training for you guys today. This training is on the Managing Orders tab and all of the different things that it has in it for you. So with this one, we'll talk about how to make a Troop to Girl transfer and how to manage your cookie share, what to do with your cookie share, because I know I've already gotten that question a handful of times. Um, It'll also solve that problem of why are my digital cookie and smart cookies not talking to one another anymore? Um, which the reason they're not talking anymore is after the parent initial order cutoff, which was January 20th, digital cookie and smart cookie stopped talking to each other. If they kept talking to each other, your digital cookies would keep feeding cookies to each girl. And Smart Cookies doesn't have a way to differentiate what has been already given to a girl and what still needs to go to a girl. So it would just keep adding cookies to her order, and you wouldn't know if you had given them to her already, if she still needed them, and it would just make complete chaos of your inventory. So they stopped talking, and that's why your digital cookie numbers might look different. Because they're not directly feeding into smart cookies anymore. You do have to do that manually with a Troop to Girl transfer. Another thing with the systems talking to each other is in the past, the girls on their side in Digital Cookie have been able to see the number of like offline cookies that they have sold. So if they've sold cookies at a booth, or if they are doing a mom and me and their troop leader transferred them cookies, this year that option is no longer there. So girls, when they're seeing their numbers on the digital cookie side, is just going to be what they've sold in digital cookie. If they need to know how many cookies they've sold at a booth, if they're trying to keep track to reach a certain goal or whatever, they are going to need to ask their Troop Cookie Manager how many cookies they've sold. So that is one of the uh, oddities now of Digital Cookie when they took away that enter your offline sales feature. So now that information does not feed back and forth. Okay, so let's share my PowerPoint here. Uh, And I think I'm just going to go through the PowerPoint on this one. I'm not going to do a live demonstration like I did last time, just because all of the information is in all of these slides. And that way I don't have to borrow an active troop in order to see all the things. So for managing our cookie orders, like usual, you're going to log into your ABC Smart Cookies. We're going to go to our Manage Orders tab, and then we're going to look at the Manage Orders grid. And then we will learn how to see your initial order, transferred orders, and cookie share orders from the Manage Orders grid. So to get to that, we are going to click on our Orders tab. We're going to click on, let me get my highlighter up over here. Where is my highlighter? Okay, got my laser pointer. Put that away. Okay. Okay, so from the Manage Orders tab, we have our Orders tab. The first thing you'll see is Manage Orders. That's what we want to click on to get to our Manage Orders screen, which will look kind of like this at the top. So there are 4 boxes at the top. This gives us our planned number of cases of cookies. This is all of the cookies that if you took everything in your planned orders that are currently scheduled, this is how many cases of cookies you would end up with. This is not how many cookies you are married to and have actually sold. This next box is all of the cookies that you have ordered. So these are the cookies that you have indicated that I am selling these and this is what I need. So this includes your initial order. So any of those cookies you order for a booth, all of that is included in this ordered section. The sold section is all of the cookies that have been claimed as sold. So if you enter cookies in the Smart Booth Divider, which is going to be next week's video, those will mark over here in the sold because the Smart Booth Divider assumes that you have sold all of the cookies that you are entering into it. These are all the cookies that girls have sold through Digital Cookie and through that initial order phase. Then we have our on-hand inventory. Now, some of you have already emailed me going, why do I have so much in my on-hand inventory? Now that is because you placed your initial order. That on-hand inventory indicates that these are cookies that you absolutely 100% needed to take. So prior to the initial order, that on-hand inventory might have been somewhere around like 30, 50, 60 packages of cookies. And that is because those were the packages of cookies that the system was going to assume you were taking as all of those extra cookies to round up to the next case. Now your offhand inventory should say the number of cases that are in your initial order because you have already placed that order and you have accepted them as your inventory, whether you physically have it on you or not. If you click each of these, except for the last one, have a show transactions button. If you were to click on the show transactions button under each of the boxes, it will show you the different types of transactions that will appear on the lower half of that page when you click on that where to filter for it. Okay. So down below, we do have, it automatically will give you all of your orders. And you can refine your search. So if you want to search by a specific girl or by a specific troop, if you've done any troop to troop transfers, you can refine your search by all of those different parameters. You can, and then when you select a parameter, you do need to click apply search parameters. Otherwise, it will not filter for that. Then in our ordered packages, so if we were to click on that show transactions button, it will filter all of the transactions that are in that 388 cases of ordered cookies. So this is our cookie share packages. This is our covered to troop transfer. This is, this troop had some damaged cookies that were credited to them. Typically you will not see those because our cookie cupboards will swap damages. So if you do have a damaged package of cookies, or the package, it didn't seal correctly, and it is not in a saleable condition, you can take that back to any cookie cupboard and they will do a 1-for-1 swap. So if you bring them a package of lemonades, they will hand you a package of lemonades. It's a 1-for-1. And then on over here, they also have a planned order, and then they have a troop to girl order. And we will go through what all of those different little acronyms mean in one of the other slides. One of the nice features about this is it can be exported to Excel. So it will give you everything you see on this page. And I was told that if you use this manage orders page to export to Excel, the flavors of the cookies will show up at the top column, unlike some of the reports that you download. And it's a weird thing with the system, and it is one of the number one suggestions that troops and councils have for the developers. They're working on it. I don't know if they'll have a solution in the near future, but they have been told a lot. Okay, so the bottom half of the manage orders will be a summary of your troops cookies. Depending on if you filter this in cases or packages, that is how it will read. And then if you click on the arrow here for more, so we click on our little arrow, it will give you the details of which, how many packages or cases of each, excuse me. It will give you a breakdown of how many cases and packages of each variety you have planned, ordered, sold, and on hand. Kind of nice for trying to, if you're trying to manage that inventory at the end or throughout. Throughout would probably be better. So we've already placed our initial orders, so I'm going to run through this one really quick. You can still view your initial order. So if you go to that orders tab in drop down and click on your initial order, you can still see it. You can change it to see how many total packages or cases of cookies you have by variety. And you can see how many girls it had what. Like, you can still see your initial order. You just can't do anything to modify or change it at this point in time. However, it can also be sent to exported into an Excel spreadsheet from your manage orders tab. So here we've got our initial order, and it will just show the troops on this page. It will not break it down by girl. And then we've got our planned orders. So again, a planned order is a order that you place at a cookie cupboard that you are planning to get in the future. It does not mean you have to pick it up. You don't even have to pick up the quantities that you've selected on that planned order. You can modify them at the cupboard. If you do modify them, make sure you get a modified receipt from your cupboard manager, and that they modify whatever information that they are sending to me, to make sure that if somebody were to forget to hit save when they're modifying that order, and you only took 5 cases of Thin Mints instead of 10 cases of Thin Mints, then once they upload those modified orders, I will be able to see that, oh, no, they did actually give you 5. Your receipt that you received says that you got 5, but if Smart Cookie says 10, I can then easily switch that transaction only if you have a receipt and can prove that that transaction was not actually how it's written in Smart Cookies. I do need that proof. So planned orders, when they are entered, you will see them in that planned transaction type. Once a planned order has been approved and confirmed, they transfer into a covered to troop or a C2T transfer. And then planned orders can be edited or deleted until the cupboard manager approves it. You can go into your planned orders, go all the way to the right, click on those 3 dots, and you should be able to delete or edit that. If you're having trouble editing your planned order, reach out to your cupboard manager and they would be able to edit it for you. If you want to do it before the day, or if you want to do it the day of, they can edit it right there in front of you. So here's what that looks like. We can filter specifically just for planned orders by clicking on that planned button. And now it's got that little check mark next to it, meaning this is all that we're seeing are those planned orders. So that's what pops up when we filter it. We do have to, once we click on that planned, we do have to apply those search parameters in order for them to pop up individually. Okay. Other types of transfers you have troop to girl transfers. So we have girl to troop, which is up here, G2T. We have troop to girl, T2G. So this is if your girls and you are swapping between a girl. So if my troop were to give my daughter cookies for a walkabout and I'm saying I'm taking possession of these cookies, these are ones that we are going to sell regardless. I can do a troop to girl transfer for however many of those cookies are to my daughter, to that Girl Scout. If my troop has decided, if you do a walkabout, I will accept back any cookies that you don't sell and I will try to resell them at a booth, that's when you would do the girl to troop transfer. Also, you might do a girl to troop transfer if the girl accidentally takes an order on her page or the troops page and she was supposed to do it the other way around. You might have to do one of those types of transfers. And then you have options to doing them outside the troop. You can do a troop to troop transfer, or a T2T is how it'll show up. A cupboard to troop, that's how all your planned orders will eventually come up, or troop to cupboard. Now, the only time you'll probably see that troop to cupboard is when we get into that exchange portion or the swap portion of the cupboards. At some point, the cupboards will most likely be allowed to swap different flavors for you. So if you have too many boxes of Explore-Mores and you need another box of Thin Mints, or sorry, if you have a case of Explore-Mores and need a case of Thin Mints, you can bring it to the cupboard and just say, I would like to do an exchange. Here's the flavors I am giving you. Here are the flavors I need. The flavors that you give to the cupboard will be a troop to cupboard transfer. And the ones that you take from the cupboard will be that cupboard to troop transfer. And the date has not yet been determined for that, but that is, we've done it in the past and is highly likely we will do that again this year. You will see information about the transfer, the date, who is giving it, who's receiving it. Something important to note on the troop to troop transfers. You cannot do a troop to troop transfer to give responsibility to another troop. The receiving troop needs to initiate that troop to troop transfer, or it's not going to be able to happen. Because again, the system doesn't want a troop to give cookies just to another troop. They want the troop that is accepting the cookies to say, yes, we are taking cookies from troop 1, 2, 3 to troop 4, 5, 6. That this is, approved and we've got a receipt, we're good. Also with that troop to troop transfer, make sure you get a receipt in some fashion. I know I've seen troops write a receipt on a sticky note, on an official receipt book. However, you need to record that there has been a troop to troop transfer. Make sure you do it. So, what else do we have in here? Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when we're looking at our transfers. So when we look at that transfer dropdown, we have all of the options selected right now. We could look at it where we want to look at just troop to covered transfers or troop to troop transfers. The one weird quirkiness of Smart Cookies is if we need to look at girl to girl transfers. So if you have a set of sisters and they're both in your troop and you need to switch cookies from Susie to Julie, either they accidentally sold on the other one's side, or you're just trying to even them out so each sister has approximately the same number of cookies for her rewards. Doing those girl to girl transfers, you can do them, they'll show up, but you have to select girl to girl, and then you have to apply the search parameter for the specific girls you're looking for. Otherwise, they will not show up in the filters. I think that's the only wonky one. But again, here's the 3 dots so you can view your orders, export to Excel. Here's one where it would say edit or delete. Just as an example, it won't be all the way up there, but example so you can see what it says. Okay. Now for creating a troop to girl transfer, this one you're going to go to the orders tab and click on transfer order. So now you are going to create a transfer order. Okay. Creating that transfer order, it will default to troop to girl. So the default in this is going to be troop to girl. That is the most common transfer you're going to do, is giving cookies from your troop inventory to one of your Girl Scouts. Troop to girl transfers, this information will already be filled out because you own that troop. Most likely there is the only one troop that you own because you're looking at it as a specific troop. So service unit managers will be able to filter this for any troop in their service unit. So then once you've selected your girl, right here we have selected Shannon, we want to click the apply button. If we need to take any of this out, we have a reset button up here at the top, so we can click that as well. So once we've selected our Girl Scout, so it's coming from our troop to our girl, we now have a note section here at the bottom where we can say like these are for door-to-door sales or for a booth packages. So that you have 2 columns in which you can enter numbers in those blue rectangles for a transfer. The first one is in that packages column. These cookies transferred in the packages column move from troop inventory to girl inventory, and they assign financial responsibility to that girl for those cookies. So this would be if she's doing a walkabout with her own personal inventory. This is if she sold cookies in Digital Cookie and she needs to accept them so that she can go deliver her orders. This is where that number would go. Booth in the booth packages column, these are cookies that do not assign financial responsibility to the girl. So if you're doing that sister to sister transfer, girl to girl, you want to do, and one, all the money was collected under Susan and they need to go to Stacy, but the money was all under Susan, you'll transfer them as booth package cookies so that Stacy doesn't look like she has money that she owes and Susan looks like she paid too much. That's the main difference there in those booth packages, is they do not assign financial responsibility to the Girl Scout. And if you want your financial transactions to be accurate, you want to make sure you put them in the right column. So this also would be if she does a walkabout with troop inventory cookies, and she does them. Everything is under the troop in her digital cookie. If she's at a cookie booth and she accidentally puts cookies under her personal, or if she was supposed to be at a Mom and Me and puts them under the troop, that's when you might need these columns and need to know when that financial responsibility is assigned to a girl to know where those cookies need to go. However, for booth cookies, we do strongly recommend using the Smart Booth Divider. Using the Smart Booth Divider allows us at Council to know how many cookies are sold at your booths, which helps us identify, is this booth worthwhile? Are you only selling 10 packages of cookies at a booth? Is it worth me making a phone call the next year to still establish that booth if it's not doing well? It also allows me to come up with an average number of cookies sold by each of our troops throughout the entire cookie program. So last year, because a lot of you use the booth divider, and I really appreciate that, I can tell you that our troops sold an average of about 108 packages at cookie booths last year. Without the Smart Booth Divider, I would not be able to give you that detail because I wouldn't be able to tell what cookies were sold at a booth versus what cookies were sold by an individual girl. So that Smart Booth Divider is very helpful for me on a data standpoint, but also it helps to sort out your orders to figure out what was done at a booth and what was done individually or on a Mom and Me or walkabout. So once we've established what all of that is, at the bottom here, it will tell us how many packages are in each column. And then make sure we click the Save button. It is on the left this time in blue. And then from here, once you've clicked Save, it will create that transfer order. You'll see it on your Manage Orders screen. And you can either go to your Manage Order screen or you can make another transfer. So if you're doing all of your what used to be called goal getter packages of cookies, so anything sold between the initial order going in and you getting cookies in hand, because the girls are still going to be selling and collecting orders. So if you're trying to figure all that out, you can go and click make another transfer and then select a different Girl Scout to transfer cookies to. Do all of your transfers and then go to that Manage Orders page and just double check that you did them all correctly. So what I don't have in this slideshow is the most helpful report for determining what cookies were sold on Digital Cookie between the initial order and cookies in hand, previously called our goal getter period. I think we still call it the goal getter period. But how many cookies were sold and what cookies need to go to a Girl Scout from Digital Cookie. So going into Smart Cookies, I am here in my troop right now. So we are going to click on find our reports, go into our current reports, and we are going to look at the Girl Cookie Order Details report, not the summary report, the details report. The summary report is helpful towards the end when you're trying to calculate exactly how many she's got, if she has all of the cookies she's supposed to have. But the details page is the one that will give you more information. I do recommend clicking this Add to Favorites button, and it will pop up right here. So I have the summary up there, but because I use that one a little bit more frequently for council polling reports, but the Girl Cookie Order Details is the one we're gonna want. So we can go to our report. So then I can go in here and I can filter it. So maybe I want to filter by January 20th, because that's when the parent initial order was due. And I didn't add those to my initial order. So I need to grab all of those orders from Digital Cookie. And if I leave the end date blank, it will bring in everything from January 20th to now. I want to see them in packages because cases and packages confuses me. And this report pulls really nicely in a PDF. It also pulls nicely in Excel. So let's pull it as a PDF so we can just see what it looks like. I don't know why it sends me to the bottom, but now here I can see these are my Girl Scouts that have sold cookies. It'll give me the dates, and then it'll tell me here if it was included in her initial order. So maybe I don't want to put in a date here, and I want to just pull the whole report. do I have girls that did that? Yes, here we go. So here I've got girls who she sold cookies in her initial order. So it's got a Y in this INCL, which means included in IO, your initial order. So this column here, this fourth column, that Y means it was already accounted for in her initial order. I don't need to do anything with it. It's done. It's been ordered. All good. Anything with an N on it, I need to make sure that I order. So if I had already accounted for these in my initial order, I don't have to think about it or worry about it, but I didn't. So I need anything that was not included in her initial order. I need to manually enter in a Troop to Girl transfer to make sure that she has enough cookies to deliver to her customers that have already paid for cookies, because all of these orders have been paid for already. The direct ship or donation only packages, those are all still going to flow from Digital Cookie to Smart Cookie. If it is a direct ship with a donation, or just a donation purchase. Now, if it's just a donation purchase that was purchased with cash, that you still need to enter, and I will show you that in a few more slides on the PowerPoint. But any order paid for by credit card for donation only will go into Digital Cookie as a virtual cookie share. But this is the girl cookie order details. And just to show you the difference between that and the summary. So the summary just tells me the type of transaction and then my totals. So here I've got cookie share transactions, I've got direct ship transactions, and then I have her initial order. That's all that the summary is going to show me, which again, on the council side, I prefer the summary, but on a troop side, that girl cookie order detail report is the most helpful. The second most helpful report, since I'm in Smart Cookies, is going to be, it's got a very long name, the Pending Manual Cookie Share Orders Report. And I will show, I have slides of this one, so I will show that one there. But to continue with our slides, before the initial order. After the initial order, which is where we're at now, the troop volunteer must enter additional girl delivery with donation orders and any in-person delivery with donation or cookies in hand with donation. If you look on any of the Smart Cookie reports, it will be designated as girl delivery for those packages. That is just, they have the one terminology for all in-person delivery or cookies in hand orders. So this is where we're going to use that pending manual cookie share report down towards the end. And so if the girl reports a cash sale, not through Digital Cookie, but maybe her paper order card, or going, on that walkabout, just handing cookies to a customer, accepting the cash, but not logging it anywhere, those should be entered in Smart Cookies once the payment's received by the troop. So virtual cookie share, this is back on the Manage Orders tab. All the way down to the bottom is one that says Virtual Cookie Share. These are all of the Council Cookie Share cookies, so you do not physically take possession of any of this inventory. It all ends up going to council at the very end, and we work with our amazing partners to distribute those Operation Cookie Share cookies to our military and veteran partners. So when we're in here, we are going to see that total number of cookies. Now, these are the ones I'm putting in my notes. These are ordered from Digital Cookie orders as of January 15th. So I'm going to put all those numbers in. These are what the girls have collected so far. And then I'm going to click save. It will tell me that my virtual order has successfully updated. So here's our manage orders screen again. We're just looking at the straight manage orders. And now here we will see that we've got a cookie share order. Now, if for whatever reason you put too many, or you need to modify your order, or you forgot to keep track of how many exactly you put in there, and you just want to start over, you do have the option to delete your cookie share orders. However, cookie share orders that merge in from Digital Cookie cannot be deleted. So again, in that manage orders page, same thing. To view the cookie share orders, you'll click on it, apply search parameters, and then it will give us all of the information about it. It will give us a order status. And then the three dots do provide a way to edit or delete it if it can be edited or deleted. But if it just shows a view order, that means it was created automatically by the Smart Booth Divider or by Digital Cookie, and those cannot be edited or deleted. And then again, you can download this into Excel as well. So you can refine your selection by a girl or more than one girl to just see what she has in here. And like this one, they filtered by her direct ship cookies, which had donations on them, and her cookie shares. Okay. So this next set of slides might have some duplicate information on it, but it was in a separate cookie share document I got from ABC, and I wanted to just make sure I had all of the possible information you guys might ask me for in the slides. So new for 2026, all donation only orders generated in Digital Cookie will flow into Smart Cookies, and a cookie share order will be created for a girl to match that financial transaction. Unless it is a donation only order paid for by cash. That will still need to be manually entered as a cookie share, and her cash will need to be entered in the financial transactions. The rest of this is just, it explains the different types of cookie share orders that you might see on a report. So our cookies in hand with donation, girl deliver with donation, cookie share virtual booth, an individual cookie share sale, or cookie share packages sold at a booth through the booth divider. Okay. So a order type will be created, cookie share with D next to it, and they don't require anything. This just means that it was from Digital Cookie and nothing needs to be done. The order was created for you. On the financial transactions, a transaction will show up, and the transaction number will start with a CT or a CG, and will match, the rest of the numbers will match the order number from Digital Cookie. Okay. This donation only virtual cookie share, VCS, virtual cookie share, will be available to view just donation only orders. So now here is that new pending manual cookie share orders report. I'm going to have a tough time saying that one this year. But this report clearly outlines the girl delivery with donation orders and how many have been entered as of the date of the report, and any negative balances that still need to be entered. So when you're looking at this, you'll have the council description, service unit, troop, the girl's name, and then total cookie share with girl delivery with donation, total cookie share that was not part of the initial order, and the total number of cookie share manually entered, and what her balance is. So on this report, we've got our girls listed here, then we've got their total delivery. So now here we look at our balance, and we have some negative numbers and some positive numbers. The negative balance means that there are outstanding cookie share packages that must be entered, and then a positive balance would indicate that her cookie share orders have been entered that were paid for outside of Digital Cookie. A zero balance means that all of her cookie shares that were paid by credit card on Digital Cookie have been entered, and so the balance payment balances. A positive balance will indicate that she has more cookie share assigned to her in Smart Cookies that have been paid for by credit card and Digital Cookie. So this could be because of cash cookie share orders, whether that cash was selected in Digital Cookie or turned into you for cookie shares. So that is what those numbers mean. And this is the same thing, but a different report. So you can just see different girls, different balances, different numbers. Okay, so then just a quick flow chart on how packages go in and out. So if a customer orders cookies and cookie share packages from a Girls Link ship only, the packages will flow into Smart Cookies. The troop doesn't need to do anything on their end. If a customer orders for donation only from the Girls Cookie Link, pays for them by credit card through Digital Cookie, no action is required. I'm going to put a side note in here. So if a customer orders for donation only, they enter it in the mobile app and pay cash, then a financial transaction does need to get posted into Smart Cookies, and the cookie share does need to get processed to that girl in the virtual cookie share tab. So then here, a customer orders cookies and cookie share from a Girl Link through Digital Cookie. The financial transaction will post for the full order, but the troop will need to create the virtual cookie share order for that cookie share portion of the order. And that is it. So thank you for running through all of this with me. Again, we talked about how to transfer from a troop to girl. We talked about the manage orders screen. We saw the girl cookie order details report and how to figure out if girls got more orders from Digital Cookie. We took a look at the pending cookie share order report. I'm really going to have a trouble with the name of that report because it's so long. But we talked about that one, how to enter a virtual cookie share, when to enter a virtual cookie share. If you have any questions, we do have a Q&A next Tuesday evening, February 10th, that will go over and prioritize all of these troop transfer cookie share questions. If you have any questions about any other part of the cookie program, how to enter a financial transaction, where do I enter my bank account for the ACH, any of that, we can talk about that, but we're going to prioritize anything that was talked about this video when it comes to questions. But you are welcome to ask whatever questions you need to in that Q&A. Also, great place for questions is through customer care by sending us an email through customer care. It gets to both Kims at the same time. So just in case one of us, or to take a day off, have doctor's appointments, or anything else like that, we both have access to those questions and those emails versus when they come to us directly. So customer care, the way to go if you have a question you need to email in. So thank you for watching, and we will see you at the Q&A next Tuesday.